Activate. Hello, gamers. Cringe Lord here, with a couple of buffoons, here to serve you your not so weekly dose of the Pawcats.
It's weekly TM.
What?
Weekly TM.
No, I know. No. Yeah, I know what you mean, but no. Okay. Okay, it
Okay,
can
so
be weekly
Paladin,
TM.
stop avoiding me, you fucking homo sapien. Are you going to play Halo Reach with us when it comes out on PC? Answer me, faggot.
Who's avoiding who? That's a good game.
You never respond to me when I ask you.
Did you ask me?
Dude, you're unbelievable sometimes. Like, you do the same to me, right? We ask you a very clear question, and you'd never give an answer, as if we're supposed to read. I don't know if you're like expecting
Several
us
times, on stream, in Discord chat, and your boomer eyes just don't see it.
I thought I did answer that, actually, now that I think about it.
I'm never really sure if you like can't realize that we're asking you a question and that you're supposed to answer it, or if you're doing that on purpose. I it's kind of amazing.
Well, I like Halo Reach, so of course I'm gonna play with you guys.
Nice. Well, if you wake
Okay,
up.
good.
Now
If
that
you
we
do
have
get
that
out of bed.
settled.
We haven't played Smash in a week.
Oh, you haven't been spamming me to play, so I figured. I don't even know if you've been playing.
I've been practicing. Just regular training mode practice. Short hops, fast falls, backflips. But no, I haven't really been playing. I've been really busy last week. Working hard. So, Zeiss, do you have any topics prepared before we move on to I don't even know what we're moving into, but do you have anything you want to talk about?
Same. Am working on finding good deals on computer parts and trying to finish episode 2 of Mati. Is lots of work and probably going to work on it for like the next week straight.
Oh yeah, how's Machi going then? Like the episode 2. Do you have like an idea on when it would
Mati.
be released?
Machi?
Machi. Isn't it Machi? I thought it was.
That's how it's pronounced. Mati.
Maki? Really? Like the Japanese shit?
Nya.
Mochi?
Machi makes more sense to me.
How's it spelled again? Is that right?
Yeah, that's it.
Says the week.
The CH makes a K sound.
Except not in every language.
I'm telling you for this word, right?
As if you knew words. You can't even get out of bed.
Well,
Anyway, I found this article today. Is a spooky dude.
Teenage neo-Nazi convicted of planning terror attack. Jesus. Okay.
oh, is this the one where oh wait, no, that's a different one. Oh wait, hold on.
His drawings look like something from an evil version of Binding of Isaac.
Yeah. This is ridiculous. Convicted? You would... God. Look, if a child... Here's the thing. If a child is potentially dangerous but hasn't done anything dangerous yet, just get him a therapist. Like, the police will only fuck him up even worse.
Well, this is UK, so
Yeah, they hate their kids. This is honestly disgusting. Oh, I have a great topic that we can talk about.
oh, we're not gonna
So
talk
last-
about the neo-Nazi kid.
Okay, we can finish with the neo-Nazi. What else is there to say? I mean, we have pretty strong feelings about this, but I think we've elaborated on that kind of topic many times before.
Oh, I don't think we've ever specifically talked about Nazis. But should we not talk about Nazis for the fear of demonetization?
This
Maybe
kid clearly
N-word?
needs help. His picture reads, when they are dead, they can't judge you. And then that cringy Jared Leto Joker laugh. See, if he were smart, then he would also come to the conclusion that when you're dead, their judgment won't matter. Like water crashing into a rock.
Yeah. It is... I can only sympathize with the child. I can't. I wonder what the parents think of all this. Like, genuinely, I would suspect
They're probably
that
dead. He probably killed them.
So I know that was an attempt at humor. Personally, I didn't find this very funny.
I'm just saying, in a lot of these cases, the kid usually kills their parents.
Did you shoot your parents?
Well, I'm not a neo-Nazi. And I'm not
do you mean?
brainwashed. So I have not killed my parents yet.
Yet.
I have not killed my parents, like... I guess I shouldn't say yet after that.
I mean, you never know, right?
Well, you know... I guess that's true, but I don't think I would ever.
Yeah, I don't think you think. So, but yeah, it's one of the things where either the parents are trying to support their kid like we think they should. We're like good parents and be like, this is ridiculous. Our child needs help. But at the same time, I'm thinking, if the kid draws that kind of shit, that I suspect that would mean the child doesn't get enough support from his parents in the first place. So maybe the parents are glad that the police is dealing with him. Oh, and obviously I'm expecting the kid to be a he. And school shooters aren't renowned to be females.
From parents or his community, both of which are sad.
Yeah. I mean, the concept of community is... I wouldn't say it's irrelevant, but it's not as relevant as you'd think. I don't know how it is where you live, but here, where I am, like, there is no real concept of community. It's just sort of your neighbors that you run it into sometimes, and that's
Schools should
about
be
it.
there to help nurture students. If they can't do that, then they should probably rethink that.
Yeah, I guess. I guess school is part of, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Alternatively, we also need more people like this Serbian physical education dude. He disarmed and took down a kid who had an AK-47. We need more people like this in America. Where are the heroes of our age?
Damn. Hand grenades and explosives. Wow. That's actually, yeah, that is unbelievably brave.
See, this why I need to continue training to be in decent physical condition. Never know when it might come in full.
You're right.
Well, those sloths are something else, to be fair.
Also, but still. But at the same time, I mean, yeah, I guess you do rely on your body always, all the time, and it's a good thing to have strong foundations. But just the argument of, oh, you never know when it's going to come in handy, I don't think that alone really justifies any effort whatsoever.
Also, I always pay attention to my surroundings, doorways, cover, lines of sight. XD.
So,
Well, they're like kind of going off of that in the U.S. They're starting to do like school drills for active shooters, and there's a bit of a contention point there, saying we shouldn't prepare the children because it can traumatize them.
I mean,
Even though like being more prepared shouldn't.
I think also that I think where did
I
see
think I'm
this
like
point?
50-50 on that.
I think I
Maybe it's a little
Also
sad
the-
we have to train kids for school shootings, but
What I found really
maybe it should be more general, like situational awareness training rather than specifically like a school shooting training.
I think one thing that I found really interesting is in PewDiePie's video, was it yesterday or the day before? I don't remember. He said something like, if you are the fact that you are that a society gets so afraid of something, that might trigger that very thing to happen. And so maybe there's a similar thing with school shooting. Like, why do kids shoot up schools? Well, it's also to have the renown, like, oh, I did that huge thing and everyone's, paying attention to. But the thing is, if no one cares about school shootings, maybe they won't happen. I don't know. I think I don't know how I feel about this specifically. I don't live in the US. We don't have that I don't have that problem. I'm not afraid to get shot down in the street at all. There is no firearm here. Like, this is not a problem for me. I can't have real opinions about it, but I can definitely see how some people would think it's a great idea and some would think it's a awful idea.
Yeah, like that's the same thing. I kind of agree with that. Like we shouldn't prepare for something that we don't want to happen, right? But we should prepare for kind of the same situation, or like that's what I'm saying. I think it would be better if they did like a situational awareness training for all students, just in general, rather than
see what you mean.
Like specific school shooting training.
It's as if you were.
It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy thing.
It's as if you were holding a sign that said, I am what's the word? I'm afraid of spiders, right? If you were holding a sign that said, I'm afraid of spiders, please don't show spiders to me. Like, what do you think's gonna happen?
Everyone's not gonna give you a spider, obviously. People are nice.
Obviously. Smile. But yeah, that's because if you show that your main concern
Yeah, I'm also anachronistic.
Arachnophobe, yes, thank you. That's the word.
That was from Sunny.
Yeah, I don't. Here in France, we have the very much opposite problem where
we watched it like 5 episodes ago.
I don't remember that line. Small brain. But here in France, we have sort of the opposite problem where there are clear issues. Like, there are things that are a problem. Namely, terrorism. And it's not really talked about. It's not people's concerns. Right? Like,
you guys don't have hiding from trucks training?
Well, no. But it's even worse than that, is that every single time there's a terrorist attack of any kind, it's always sort of... So, the media, they will cover it, but it's almost like they cover it as if, oh, we're used to that thing now. It's just a couple people getting killed. Happens every day. Moving on. You know, but like, no, it's not just people getting killed. It's people getting killed for a very ideological and I'd say cultural reason. Like, there's a real rip in our culture. There's a real problem, but no one's really talking about it in the media. And no one's talking about it in the street or anywhere. No one's talking about... And... You know, it's it's a very sensitive topic because it's very easy to fall into the trap of Islamophobia with all that. But obviously, there is a problem where it's our Western our French culture is just the French culture is just non-compatible with let's say. With Islam. It's just not. It's not to say that Muslims cannot live in peace here. They can. But when you take the ideology of Islam and invite it into the French culture, you're going to have that. You're going to have what's happening right now. So, and for the record, I don't mind Muslims. In fact, I live surrounded by Muslims. A lot of my friends are Muslims. That's not the problem. The problem is the ideology behind it. And again, it's like, in a way, every single ideology has the potential to become a threat. But there is, like, if you have an ideology that says, I mean, it's very easy for two ideologies to be utterly and, what's the word? What's the opposite of implicitly? Explicitly. I'm a retard. If you have two ideologies that are explicitly opposites. Yes. Thank you. If you have two ideologies that are explicitly opposites, obviously there's going to be a clash. You can't pretend, oh, it's just the thing that happens. Like, no, it doesn't happen in other places, and at some point you're going to have to make a choice. Do you fight or do you surrender? And unfortunately, and I know it's kind of a running joke and it's a meme, but it's actually kind of true. Us French people, we kind of tend to just suck it up and surrender, slowly but surely. And that's what I'm seeing in the media, and it's fucking sad. Makes me ashamed of my country, really. It's like, oh no, France doesn't have an Islamic problem. Okay, okay, boomer, you know. That's enough.
Maybe the ancients and priests were onto something with their stories. What if there's some vile spirits running around everywhere, influencing people to commit violent things? I should make an anime in modern times about these spirits of terror and dread who hunt down the isolated and make them commit school shootings and trucks of love and public fireworks shows and turning journalists blind and into hysteria. I'll be like the shaman of our age, for I can see these wicked spirits.
Okay, boomer. Yeah, trucks of love, exactly. Like that's. I mean, I know that's a joke that you guys use, but it's very accurate. And also, a few weeks ago, and I know no one's talking about it anymore, and I don't understand why. A few weeks ago, I told you about that terrorist attack that happened within, like, inside of the
police station.
Yeah, police station, right? But it's not only just the police station. He was working in the the counter-terrorist department. The guy fighting the terrorists,
Have there been any updates about that?
Was
or
a
is it just
terrorist.
no one's talking about it.
He was a terrorist, and then they tried, turning the media. No, not the media. The government actually tried to turn this whole story on its head and say, "Oh no, he wasn't, doing it for religious reasons. He was just and mentally unstable or whatever." No, he was clearly. You just scroll through his emails, you scroll through his text messages. No, he was clearly doing it for very religious reasons. He was definitely very strongly ideologically driven.
The vile spirits got to him. And the government people, and the media. See, I can seize it clearly.
At the very least, the media here, they're kind of cowards, but they're not liars like the American media is.
Yeah,
I mean it.
Yeah, they lie here a lot.
They don't talk about some things, but at least they don't utterly lie.
Well, isn't that...
They kind of do the opposite,
kind of lying,
they will, like, about the story I just told, they did cover it a little bit. They did say, oh, this is fishy and whatnot, but they didn't push very hard, they just kind of give the government a slap on the hand and then moved on, but I think it's a huge deal.
I mean, that's just as bad, isn't it?
What do you mean?
About lying, just as bad as lying. Because
I don't think
because
so.
the end result is pretty much the same thing. The population doesn't know, and the government continues to do what they're doing.
The population knows a little bit, but they don't pay attention. I'd say it's a little less of a lie, but it's easier to cool down from that than it is to cool down from a lie, because it's easy to get caught from. Like, I guess to a certain degree, the media here is a little bit more mature than your media, because we know lying is actually a really bad fucking idea. It's a very bad long-term strategy. It doesn't hold. So instead of lying, I guess you could say, well, they're just watering down the stories, which they do. And do you remember?
They don't have any incentive to lie, right? I don't know how your guys's.
Well, also we have laws against that kind of shit. Like, unlike in the U.S., we don't have pure freedom of speech. You can't say whatever you want. If you want to be a journalist, you have to report the facts. And if something you say is factually incorrect, is factually false, then you risk some shit.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have some sort of case soon about that, because I don't know if you ever knew about that high school kid who was at the Indian or whatever, Native American. Sorry. Like one of our news outlets just lied about it, and then he's taking him to court. Originally it was dismissed, but now it's going through. So soon enough we'll have some decisions about how lies are how much lies are allowed by the media.
Well, the problem is, how do you define a lie?
Well, I mean, that's one thing that we've run into, right? We just say, oh, it's not really a lie, it's a matter of opinion, or it was a misunderstanding or something, when it was clearly a lie.
Well, I mean, I think of all of this as a spectrum, but I don't really see a fundamental definition. I guess what we need is the definition of a fact. And maybe that could be something materialistically provable.
Well, nowadays, our media,
provable.
When reporting on things that they don't like, they'll say, this person said without evidence, right? But then they'll make claims without evidence and act as though it's fact. So they don't even have a standard of what's truth or not.
Yeah, your media sucks. American media is the worst. Like, I don't know, man.
It's all about the
Also,
money.
back to the neo-Nazi kid, he also said this. Quote, democracy is very much a dead system. Political violence therefore can only help us. The white race is being silently genocided. The West is dying. End quote. I like the part where the first two sentences are very similar things to what Antifa says, and that unethical journalists justify that. I guess they really like using fascism to achieve their goals, huh?
Yeah. I mean, it reminds me of what Jordan said about what Jordan said about the actual white nationalists, not the ghosts that the far left is fighting, but the actual neo-Nazis and whatnot. What happens is you have people like Antifa on the left playing identity politics and saying, well, we should all be equal, like we should treat each other based on race and try to be equal. And then you have neo-Nazis on the right saying, on the very far right saying, well, okay, we're going to play the same game, but we're going to play to our rules, and actually yes, we're going to take race into account, but we're going to favor the white race. And so it's the same, it's like two sides of the same coin. The problem isn't which side you're on, it's the coin. You can't have any kind of identitarianism that doesn't end in civil war or something, in a bloodshed. And so speaking of Antifa, here in Paris last week was a disastrous event. Like, I have only been on this earth for about a quarter of a century, but I've never seen anything like this. So what happened is, there was, you remember the yellow vests, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the yellow vest, they started their movement last year. They started their movement, they started their thing last year almost day to day. Actually, a year and a week ago. And so last week was their 1 year anniversary. And so last week, they just rolled over my neighborhood, where I actually live. Just down the street, they lit a huge fire. They just they pillaged few stores. They looted? That's the term. They looted a few stores.
Pillaged is a better word. Use that word.
No, fuck you. They looted a few stores. They broke some windows. They broke everything they could run into, and would graffiti on the walls. Things like, what was it? Essentially, they would make a huge mess. But my sister and I, isn't that the term, graffiti?
No, just the way you said it. You said graffiti.
Isn't that the word?
Yeah, it's the word.
It's graffiti.
What was your sister doing?
Right? Is it it's graffiti?
It's
right?
graffiti, yeah.
Okay, fuck you. It's graffiti in French. So they made a huge mess of my entire neighborhood. And my sister and I, we wanted to go buy groceries, and actually we just couldn't because everything, they shut down the streets.
Why didn't you loot with them? Just get some free groceries.
Yeah, no thanks. And so that was just disgusting. So anyways, and the craziest part about the whole yellow vest, is it only 1 terabyte? Gay. So the whole thing about, the worst thing about the whole yellow vest thing, you have the media not necessarily supporting them anymore, not necessarily doing the opposite either. That's the thing. Here in France, we don't have the sort of strong, opinionated media that you guys have. We really don't. We just don't. Because I guess journalists are, I suppose it's in the law. I don't actually know the law all that well. But the journalists are sort of supposed to only talk about the facts and nothing else. But the thing is, you have a huge organization called the Yellow Vest, and so many people argue, oh, but it's not the Yellow Vests doing doing the riots. They're just demonstrating peacefully, and it's the Black Blocs, which is just a synonym for Antifa, by the way. Oh yeah, in France, nobody knows about the word Antifa. In France, the only people that actually know about what Antifa actually is the far right, and people like me who actually look at what's happening on in the world.
Doesn't that make you far right if you know about them?
Well, that's the thing. Now, if I talk about Antifa to some people, they assume I'm far right because I use the word Antifa instead of using the term Black Bloc. Except, if you say Black Bloc,
I wouldn't say Antifa.
Listen. Here's the thing. If you say Black Bloc, it sounds like some washed up, it's a group of meanies, right? It's a bunch of baddies, right? But if you say Antifa, you ask the question, what the fuck does Antifa mean? Antifa means anti-fascist, and so now when you say Antifa, you're highlighting their ideology. When you say Black Bloc, you're not. And so a lot of people just don't know what these black blocs are actually stand for, and they are quote unquote anti-fascist. They are far left extremists. But most people don't know that. People think they're just looters and rioters without any agenda. They very much have an agenda that no one is aware of. The only way you're going to be aware of that agenda is if you're A, an Antifa yourself, B, you live on the internet and actually look at what happens, especially in the US, or C, are far right.
Antifa think they are good guys. Hitler probably thought he was a good guy. Munch on that for a couple minutes, you mindless idiots. TP for fun.
Yeah, well, I don't think that's really an argument, in the sense that...
Well, everyone thinks their actions are just.
Well, I don't think you're exactly correct. But I'd say I agree with you 99%. How about that? I think it's easy to think you're the good guy. I think by default you think you're the good guy. I think most people just result to the default option.
What's the default option?
Well, thinking of yourself as a good guy.
It's not like those are two different things for you.
Because default requires using less brain cells.
Yes, it's easier. It's not so much about thinking of yourself as the good guy, I think, as it is admitting that you might just be wrong. That alone can go a long way. It doesn't mean you're a bad person, though most definitely you are to a certain degree, but that's besides the point. But that's besides the point. If you can admit that you're wrong, then there can be a dialogue. But those people don't believe in dialogue. And yet they're just written off as some random rioters without explanation. It's like, no, there's a very, very powerful explanation that is, these are far left radicals, anarchists. They are dangerous. They are just as dangerous and more pernicious than the far right. And they don't get the spotlight that they should have. And that's why they're a lot more pernicious and vicious. It's because no one knows about them.
Well, could it be that it doesn't affect most people's daily life, so they don't have to think about it?
Neither does the far right. And yet you hear about the far right. You've been hearing about them for decades here in France, because there is like that political party, the Front National, the National Front.
Well, that's because there's the history tied to the far right, you know.
Yes, correct. Yes.
So people are just thinking back to something that happened, whereas the far left, no one didn't have as much of an impact on people's history. So
yes,
they don't think about it.
But
as
that
much.
doesn't make them. That doesn't look. You're talking about history.
I'm not saying they're right for not thinking about it, but I'm just saying,
look,
there's a clear difference on why one is more powerful than the other.
You're confusing history and daily life here. You asked me about daily life. No, neither of them affect you in your daily life.
Oh, okay. Well, in your daily life, you think about what happened in the past, right?
How far does the past have to go?
Are people not taught from a young age the history of Europe?
Yes, they are, and they must most definitely know
So it's kind of
about
ingrained
Nazis.
in their mind.
Yeah, but you want to... Okay, let's go far back a little bit more. Let's go back to the French Revolution, shall we? Because that was quite the display of far-left extremism that ended up in a bloodshed.
Maybe
that
But
too far.
how do we talk about
back.
that in France? You know what? Like, we praise the French Revolution for how it liberated us or some shit like that. And to a certain degree it did. But it also enabled one of the darkest times in French history, because this was not like an invader that we surrendered to. This was within. We killed our own kin. We murdered each other. We instaured a terror that is similar to what Lenin instaured.
We, technically.
Well, as long as the terror is enacted by the people, then it's okay, right?
Well, here's the thing. By just looking at this, if you just look at the streets last week when there were these riots, you'd think that the people is angry.
Did you take
right?
any pictures?
Hold on. No, I didn't.
Angry.
So if you just look outside, you'd think, oh, there's such a riot. The people of Paris must be just completely furious with what's going on, and that's why they're in the streets. What you'd see in practice is that most people don't give a single shit, and they are completely opposed to... So here's the thing. These people rioting, they're not the French people. Even the people they're supposedly trying to work for are ditching them more and more. Fewer and fewer people are actually being yellow vests because the yellow vests are becoming more and more radicals as they're not getting rid of the black blocs, of the Antifas. Instead, they're embracing them, and so people are leaving, and the yellow vests are getting radicalizing themselves and their members. And that is happening down the street. The riots are happening down my window. I was looking at them. Last week I couldn't even open the window because of the what's the
tear
gas?
gas?
Yeah, the tear gas and the smoke from the fire. I couldn't open the window. The air wasn't breathable.
This is why you need guns in Budo, so you can shoot those people. You gotta defend.
Soon
your,
one of them is
defend your
going to
street.
become Joker, I guess.
I guess.
Oh, you should have went down there and danced with them. That's all they needed.
Well, they weren't dancing. They were trying to barricade themselves.
Well, there's different dances for different cultures.
Is your dance just sleeping and laying in bed? Because you're dancing a lot when it's inappropriate.
There's dancing for different cultures is very different.
These weren't a different culture. Like, also, that's very interesting. The Antifa. When my
You
sister
should
and
play
I-
the
Who's
song
to
of
say
tyrants
whose
to
ideology
debug
is
them.
right?
You're a bard.
when my sister and I went down to buy some groceries, my sister was like, she was sort of insulting them and she was mumbling insults and whatnot, being like, "Oh, these guys are so annoying. They're such dickheads. Get the fuck out of the way." I was telling her, "Shut up. Be quiet. These will hit you. These people will hurt you. Just get out of the way." And I wasn't saying that, I was afraid because I know the Antifa mob. I've seen what they've done. And I know my sister hasn't. She wasn't aware of what was going on exactly around her. She just thought, just like usual, she could just sass her way through the street and just at worst get weird looks. No. These people would hit her really hard, and they would hit me too. And so, this is crazy.
This is why you gotta
this is
train in
happening.
Budo to defend yourself and your family.
That's actually a really good point. Unironically. The second thing also I'm going to do is just leave this fucking city. I hate it. I hate it here so much. I
She's
don't
a
want to
sheep
raise my
just
kids
chomping
here.
on some grass, not paying attention to the cliff she's about to walk off.
Yeah, basically.
Well, running away doesn't
so-
solve the
and so
problem,
we-
right?
when
You
we
just
went-
allow them to win.
Well, I mean, what else do you think I'm gonna do? Fight an entire mob?
Well, that's not what I'm saying, obviously. But
Obviously.
you're clearly having a thought. And there's probably other people in your city having the same thoughts.
I'm not so sure. Okay, you know what? Fair enough. That's a good point. I'm curious to what you would suggest I do.
Just practice by playing Batman Arkham series. He can fight a mob easy as fuck.
Yeah, but he slows down time. I can't do that.
Well, he also... Because you
Just
haven't trained
copy him.
enough. You haven't trained enough.
What do you suggest I do exactly?
You
Because I'm
know-
not a writer. I'm no one in Paris. Online, I'm maybe half a person, but nobody knows me here. I'm no one to this community. I'm nobody anywhere in real life.
We have to try to make yourself known, right? I'm sure there
How?
are some sort of...
First of all, I don't want to do that. But maybe it's no longer a matter of what I want. Maybe it's a matter of what I should do.
Exactly. But I'm sure there are some groups, online groups where people are sharing their...
No. If I do anything, it's not going to be online.
I'm saying this is how you find the people first.
Except no. If I do anything, it's not going to be online. You know what I could do? I could do to the Chinese people. Because I live in the Chinese area. I could just go to them and say, "Hey, these Antifa pieces of shit, they're ruining your business, right?" Well, then hear me out. I don't know, maybe...
If they are online, they're probably going to be far-right homos.
Yeah, that's
Ah,
also
I
the
guess
thing.
that's
Real,
true. It'd
yeah.
be hard to not just find them. Well, you gotta be on Facebook then. Something super
Super boomer.
yeah, super top web.
Super, normie.
I don't think he likes milks that old.
I'm...
Maybe you just need to stand on the street corner and start yelling, and people will congregate.
I know
You
some
need to be
people
the
have done
bard.
this in my area. Some people have actually done this, but they're more far left.
Oh,
people.
I guess if you try to do it, you might get murdered.
I might, but I'd come back the following week. I don't know. That's the thing. I'm not even that eloquent. I don't want to do this. It's just absolutely and utterly ridiculous. I don't even know what I don't even know what any solution at all. What I know is that there's a group of domestic terrorists that are radicalizing themselves, that are getting influenced by Antifa, and that are getting no sort of actual pushback from the population. Quite, like, I wouldn't say the opposite. I'd say most people don't care until it's under their windows. But I suppose what I could very much do is just sort of post go somewhere, get a sign and say that says the yellow vests are fucking our neighborhood. Let's do something about it. You know, and maybe that alone is enough to get people interested. And I don't fucking know what we should do about it. But hopefully someone has an idea. At the very least, I'll try to get some people to talk. You know, I don't know how we should do this. But something needs to be done. It's not gonna happen from up there.
Yeah, this is what the media's for, but they're silent.
Yeah, well, they have limp dicks. Like, I don't care how legitimate your demands are as a group. What I see is that you are tearing my neighborhood apart, praising anarchy and violence. I don't want to let that happen, man. You're ruining my life and that of many people, elderly people, children living here. It has nothing to do with skin color. It doesn't even have anything to do with economics. If anything, it has everything to do with values. But I guess that's what happens when you have a generation built on nihilism. And a whole culture that's pretending to be multicultural, except it's just non-existent. It's erasing itself from reality.
Well, who's to say which culture is supposed to win? Whose ideology is right, and what should be the dominant?
Well, then, that's the whole thing. It comes down to each individual. I believe Western culture should prevail against Islamic culture. That's it. That's what I believe. I don't want a fight, but then if there has to be a fight, I'll fight for what I believe. And ideally, you'd have everyone making the same decision. Maybe not coming to the same conclusion, but everyone making the same decision.
Well, you gotta awaken people so they can make the same decision.
I suppose. Yeah, I guess I could hand out flyers. Yeah, I guess I'll do that next week. I could easily do that. So yeah, that was my rant on the whole yellow vest thing. It's a disaster. It's dangerous, and it's essentially Antifa coming to France.
Don't they have like pesticide spray for those yellow jackets or whatever?
What do you mean? I mean, they have tear gas.
No, it's you guys have bees
Like
and
1D.
wasps and in Europe, right?
What?
No, because there's a bees we call here yellow vests or yellow jackets.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And we kill them because they're wasps, and they're mean.
Okay. Oh, so that's the joke about pesticides. Because, yeah. Okay. I don't know that they're vermin, but I don't know why they exist. What I know is that they're here, and they are messing with my neighborhood, and that no one's raising a finger to try.
Well, aren't you waiting for them to mess with your neighborhood to do anything? Isn't that the same thing? Maybe just that other people haven't been affected by it. I mean, because you talked about it before, but you didn't really seem like, oh, they're just doing their thing.
You're
but
right.
Now that
You're
they
right.
come to your neighborhood, you're like, oh, I'm not going to stand for this anymore.
You should be like the Koreans when they were rioting in California.
And that is? Should I know the entire U.S. history?
Yes.
The Koreans rose up and protected their stores with guns. Koreans rise up.
People aren't allowed to have guns anymore.
Yeah, that's that's a thing. Wait, was that only 25 years ago?
Literally when I was born.
I'll
now
think
Ailey's
about it.
covered in poop and has the
However-
bubonic plague. How times have changed.
However, here's the thing. I'm only 1 week man, and I have way too much on my plate. I'm trying to do my daily Smash practice. I'm trying to work out daily. I'm trying to work hard at my job. I'm trying to work on that pet project of mine. I'm trying to read books, I'm trying to clean my room, and I'm trying to do all of these things at once. And this would be just another big thing on my shoulders. And like, I'll do the minimal thing that could get something started. You know, I'll do a little bit more. I'll do the thing where I'll hand out flyers. I'll do that next week. Next weekend, rather. Because this should not be happening. And it's crazy that no one's reacting at all. In fact, it's the literal opposite. The flyers that are being handed out regularly, where I live, are left-wing radicalists flyers. Again. And if I want to...
Is basically a perfect example of gradualism.
Yeah. Okay, so let's do this. I'll go to the city hall, right? Because here in Paris, you have one city hall per what is it? Per quarter? It's not really a quarter. Whatever.
The boiling pot, and the frog done realize it until he's boiled to death.
Yeah. So I'll go to the city hall, and I'll ask if I can have like a room or something for a meeting, and then I'll hand out flyers, and if one person shows up, it's hopefully one more person that'll spread the word or something. It's not even about spreading the word. I don't have any word to spread. I'm just terribly worried about what's going to happen to my neighborhood, my city, and the people that live there. And to the rest of France to a certain extent. And then also you have to remember that whatever happens here in Paris and in France will actually spread through Europe. You have Antifa. Antifa has a strong presence in Italy, for instance. I know they have quite a good presence in Germany as well. Like, if we don't stop this far, because like the more we wait, the harder it's gonna become, and then it's gonna end up in bloodshed. It hasn't yet, but it's gonna come to that. Oh God, I can't believe. And the worst part is I have to do all of this alone because, I mean, for now at the very least, I need help. I need help.
What if they thinks you as an outright meowsy for not agreeing with the Antifa
They can think my
Want to record
ass.
that meeting for
I don't
posterity's
give a
sake.
shit what they think. Antifa can think what they want. If they decided that I was their enemy, they're damn right. Jesus.
Does the media report on the far-right Nazis there?
They do. That's the crazy part. They will report on quote-unquote far-right things, which are just reasonable, let's say, anti-immigration statements.
Not Antifa. The meeting you is going to has at City Hall.
What do you mean? Are there going to be far-right? Well, probably. I don't fucking know. And I know I'll be careful if there are, because I know how it ends. You know, like, I know how Stalin and Hitler were actually allies until they weren't. And so I know not to ally myself with anyone. I'll be careful with that. But it doesn't matter. I need my hope is that maybe some I don't know, mothers show up, maybe some dads, maybe some teenagers. I don't care. I hope real people show up and not just angry people. I want worried people. I want people that are worried about their neighborhood, about their livelihood, about what's going to happen to them and their family.
Angry.
Yeah. I don't like angry people. They're no good. I'm not angry at Antifa. I'm worried about Antifa. They can think all they want. If anything, I'll make fun of them. But when they knock at my door and burn down my neighborhood, then I have a problem.
Well, I guess you need to start drafting up a plan to deal with them.
I don't have a plan.
You need to draft up a plan.
I suppose.
What if
or
they
just
steal your
move.
PC
I
parts
mean,
by
that's
beating
also
up the
easier.
mailman? Monka Omega.
Then whatever.
I mean, are they gaining any ground there, or are they just?
Well, it's not really a matter of ground. It depends what you call ground.
Well, I meant ground as in, is there movement, moving anything?
What do you mean moving anything? I don't understand your question.
are they accomplishing what they're setting out to do? Like their message, is it affecting anyone
Yes.
outside of
kind
just attacking people, attacking
Kind of
stores?
yes. Kind of yes. But the ends don't justify the means. So what's happening is there is this whole deal where everyone is upset about Macron, and I still don't understand. For the life of me, I don't understand why. I mean, it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me that people would vote for such an obvious hoax and then be like, "Oh, but he's so bad actually." Like, yeah, duh. But anyway, and yeah, Macron. So there's this what's the word? There's this retirement reform that Macron is planning, and everyone seems to be really fired up about it. And I mean, yeah, okay, fair enough. I don't know how relevant it is. I don't care too much about that kind of shit. I'm too young to have the energy to care about it.
Wow, also
Yet.
the world's is gonna blow up before you're old enough to use it. So
But the thing is, people are getting really upset, and apparently Macron is coming back on some of his decisions. I don't really understand it. He's an obvious hoax, and it's just no one believes in anything here in France. No one has beliefs. No people are too afraid to believe in things. Genuinely, like they pretend to believe in some like 18th century rationalism and humanism. It's
No wonder the
retarded.
French dislike other French people.
Well, yeah. Oh, are you talking about me? I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I don't like French people. I hate that I'm French.
No, just all French people.
Well, that does include me.
well, maybe you're the outlier then.
What do you
Maybe
mean?
you need to leave.
Well, I will. That's the plan. I mean, I'm leaving Paris, that's for sure, and I would
All
like.
French people I know don't like other French fries.
You know many French.
A handful.
Are you a separatist, Mbudo?
What do you mean?
Are you a separatist?
What do you mean?
Or is that only a Canadian thing?
I don't understand what you mean. What should be separated from what?
I'm asking you. If you're not, then you're not, right?
White people
I don't
and
know
black
that
people,
label.
obviously.
I don't know that label, so I suppose no.
Well, are we gonna just devolve this into a political podcast, or are we gonna do other stuff now?
I mean, it's always a political podcast.
That's what I'm.
isn't it?
That's what I'm saying. We always talk about politics.
What do you want to talk about?
I don't know. Politics are fun.
Anyway, speaking of getting an SSD in the mail, do you think I should add some of these to my transition shower wish list? I really like that cute Hello Kitty shirt and the cap with the bow and masthead with the face or where she's peeking out of the corner. Ooh ooh.
Yeah, sure. Why would you not?
What is this weeb stuff?
Yeah, I know, right? Such a weeb. Actually, isn't Hello Kitty a Chinese thing?
I think it's limited time.
I think Hello Kitty is a Chinese thing. Why do you support China? Why do you love China and communism, dude?
No, Hello Kitty is Japanese.
Right,
She was
Hello Kitty
invented
is
right after World War II.
But she.
To
Hello
help people
Kitty is a big
forget
thing
that
as in-
the people in power right now are still the same people that were
Hello
in power.
Kitty is a big
during
thing
World
in
War
I
China.
like the artist, not the country.
Hello Kitty is a big thing in China, though,
It doesn't mean it's a Chinese thing.
and that's a fact.
You just hate cat girls.
I hate talking about politics because it gets me so fired up. Like, this is literally the reason why I left Twitter, is because I couldn't stand all the politics. But I guess something needs to be done.
Hello Kitty's full name is Kitty Whitehall.
Okay, you weep.
Kitty White is her
XD.
name, not Hello Kitty.
Okay. I see what you're doing there.
Hello
So,
Kitty.
Zeiss, when are you doing your transition shower?
When I am ready,
I mean, when you have big titties?
possibly.
I like the hat. Everything. I don't like the fanatic ties in for all of this stuff.
But I
Everyone's
need lots of
fanatic.
chest cake to get big titties and thighs.
Lots of cheesecake.
Now are the times.
Wait, so you're
It are those times now.
you literally need to stuff yourself with yummy candies and
She needs to
foods.
bulk up.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Do we have gamer news segment today?
But I guess there are some women out there who like man bobs.
Oh yeah, it is a thing.
You just have to find them.
I have to find the clitoris.
Yeah.
You just have to be rich, and then anyone will like you.
I mean, I'll get there. I kind of have to if I want to buy a house.
You could just always just build a house.
No, I can't do that. First, I'd have to purchase terrain and then get a permit to build, and then I'll just buy a house.
You could just steal one. That might be easier.
Easier, but then I'll probably get kicked out soon after, so that doesn't work.
Just be a squatter. Don't they have a lot of rights there in France?
Yeah. Yeah, they do. Actually, they do, which is retarded. But, you know, I kind of don't want to become what I hate the most.
We have to become what you hate most to destroy it.
I don't think that's how it works.
Wow,
I think
maybe
that's
you don't
just,
think.
I think you're not thinking enough. I think you could
Be the
start...
gremlin.
No, that's just something you say all the time, so I had to throw it back at you.
Here's some gamer news for you, Paladin. Chromecasts are overheating when using Google Stadium. Imagine having a global corporation and then fucking up your entrance into the games industry this badly.
Wait, the Chromecast, isn't that the little stick thing? Do people realize when there's like high intensity work for their electronics, it heats up, and that if they don't have proper cooling, it's gonna blow up?
At the same time as Amazon is looking to get into cloud gaming. Bad
Yeah, I
times
saw
for
that.
Google.
Well, I think Stadia was kind of dead on arrival because people were calling it the Netflix of gaming, which is not what they want it to be.
Look, this is why today's digital landscape.
This why I done like Mac or Chromecast. I won't get the kind of performance out of that I want.
Well, the reason I don't like that kind of shit is because everything goes through a megacorp, and that's like the worst thing possible. Like, yeah, sure.
Cool that shit, bitches.
Well, for the normies, that's all they need, right? They just want to turn on their TV and be able to play games.
No, I mean, they can do whatever they want.
And the normies drive the market.
Yeah, okay, sure, fair enough, whatever. They'll buy their, iPhones and use their Amazon talking box or whatever. They'll hook literally every appliance in their homes to the internet. Sure, fair enough. Go for it. And then people like me will come and just... So either completely suck the soul out of you, or just steal everything from you and make your life a living nightmare.
Don't suck
And
people.
their Chinese products, and buy Overwatch's new modes for like $40. Imagine doing that kind of retarded shit. XD.
That's how democracy dies. To thunderous applause.
In darkness, according to the Washington Post,
The fucking Washington Post.
who call Obama a conservative.
Yeah, right.
Well, he did kill a lot of Muslims, so that's a pretty conservative position. There's a new Half-Life game coming out. Did you hear about that?
Oh, really? Is it Half-Life 3 finally?
No, it's a VR game though.
Okay. So it's Half-Life VR.
No, it's a proper new game. It's called Half-Life Alyx. The one character no one cared about.
Okay.
Yeah, apparently the story's like it's in between 1 and 2. Did you play the first Half-Lives and second Half-Lives?
I have.
Looks kind of neat, but I done had VR. Also, never played Half Dead or know anything about that series.
I've played some Half-Life. I think the series aged terribly poorly. Like,
Yeah, it was one of
awfully
those things
bad.
where it's like it was
It was a huge thing back when it was released, and today it's just garbage.
They did a lot of things with like the way movement systems works in video games with Half-Life 2, but it was definitely limited by the
hardware.
the hardware, the capabilities
Yeah.
of the past. So it doesn't
Yeah,
really
also.
work as well today.
Yeah, you don't have the same kind of, and I don't know, the pacing, the storytelling, the reason why you play the game is so different from what you get nowadays.
It was like a technological success at the time, but now it's really not any good. But this new one, it looks like they're trying to do it again, especially like going to VR. They're trying to push it. What games should be?
Oh, have you guys played or seen Superliminal?
That sounds familiar. Have we talked about that before?
Yeah, because I played
That
it.
game you streamed.
Yeah, I played it on stream, and and honestly, so if have you seen people play it or heard about it?
Nope.
Because I want you guys to play it without knowing what it's about, and trust me, you're gonna have a great time. It's about maybe like 2 to 3 hours of
It
playtime.
looks like the
Don't
that one
Google
game.
it. Don't Google it.
I'm just looking at some images.
No, don't
Just
look
looking at
up
the
anything.
store page.
No, really, trust me. Just don't. Believe me. Trust me on this one. Don't look
XD.
up anything. You risk spoiling the best part about it. So just don't.
I don't believe in spoilers.
Don't. Really don't. You won't have the genuine. It's like you won't have the genuine reaction of playing it through the first time, because
Okay,
that
here
was
I'll
me.
buy
Like,
it and I'll play it right now.
yes, exactly. Do that. Stream it. It's about $14.
What if someone spoils it for me in chat? Do I ban them?
Yes.
Okay, I'll play it. Why don't you give me your Steam password so I don't have to buy it?
So it's not on Steam. It's on the Epic Games Store.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
that's very sad.
So I won't
Still a
play
very
it.
good game. I mean, sure, I can share it. We'll figure it out. But you have to play it because
I'll just watch Paladin play it. I'll
no,
save 15 monies that way.
Zeiss, I want you
It's not
to
even on
play it.
Steam.
I want both of you guys to play it, and I want to see your genuine reactions. Okay, maybe Pally streams it, and we both watch. But this is the kind of shit where...
You can't really see my reaction, Thinky.
Yeah, well, I know, that's why I... But what I mean is, it's the kind of game where if you don't know what it's about, then it makes it so much better. Because when I played it, I've seen... So I saw Darkmane play it for like a couple of minutes, and I immediately knew I wanted to get this game and play through it, and I immediately stopped.
So you
watching.
were spoiled, but you're gonna say we
Yes.
shouldn't be spoiled? Isn't that kind of
Exactly.
like influencing our thing,
What do you
our
mean?
experience?
Just trust me, you're gonna love it. No, it's not. You have no idea what it's about. If you don't know what it's about, then you have no idea what it's about. You can't guess that kind of shit. Don't Google it. Just I'll hand it to you. You'll play through it blind, and you'll have a great time. It's the kind of... Also, I also watched Frostprime play it. After I played it, I played through it, and like he had so many reactions just like mine, which is just sometimes it's just the most benign things are just so infuriating. The game is so well made. It plays.
You're kind
with
of muddying the waters for how I'm gonna experience it. Now I'm gonna have to think I have to be mad about something while I'm playing.
Okay, I mean, no, I don't think you'd be mad. I don't think, knowing you'd be kind of amused rather. But it's a really good fucking game. So I'll stop saying anything about it. I'll get you guys to play it.
I'll play it.
When?
What is this Epic Store? How do I find games?
I don't know. It worked
Is it
for
a
me.
puzzle? What the heck?
I mean, I could give you my Epic Store account or whatever. If you want to play it. And don't want to have to pay for it. Oh, that's theft. You wouldn't download a house.
I wish we could download a house.
You could download the schematics.
It's
Oh, I
literally
saw
not here. What's it called?
Superliminal. In one word. Superliminal. And it is there.
I can only find it by searching it. It's
Well,
$20. What the heck?
Is
What is
it?
it? 14 euros?
I
I
can
guess.
download a Minecraft world that has a nice house. I guess that means I win. I beat it to system. So the stars.
Oh, that reminds me, speaking of that, I saw a very interesting video about 3D printable guns. And so,
3D printable what?
guns.
Oh yeah, that's been a thing for a while now. They're called ghost
So-
guns.
A couple things I've seen from a technological, there we go, technological
Make sure we cut that
standpoint.
for him so they don't sound like a retard.
from a technological standpoint, the guns themselves don't actually work that well. Like, they wouldn't reharm it. Like, a fully printed gun wouldn't actually function. And from what I understand, also the way gun purchase works in the US is that there is, for each model, there is like one piece of the gun that is labeled as, I don't know what exactly, but like you have to have a license to get this specific part of the gun. You can get all the rest of the gun.
Yeah, like
but
the
you need
receiver
one
and stuff.
Yes, right. And it's usually sort of random. And so depending on what piece that is, you can 3D print that piece and purchase the rest without any license.
Yeah,
And
they're called ghost guns.
Yeah, right. And that's a real worry, and it's really interesting. But the other part is like fully, but you still have to, know where to purchase the parts and whatnot. And it's not like it's making guns easily available to your daily boomer, to your average boomer, like, no, not really. And then you have like the fully printed 3D printed guns. And there's a really interesting debate, which is like, well, should you even allow schematics for guns like these to be spread around the internet? And from the First Amendment's point of view, yes, because a schematic is speech. It's like a recipe. It's speech. It is speech. It is protected by the First Amendment. So either you allow it, like, and stop, because, yep, exactly. It's really interesting. It depends on the models. There are some, so like, for the models where the regulated part suffers a lot of tension and whatnot, then you can't really 3D print it. But for the models where the regulated part is not all that, is not really under much pressure or tension, then you can actually 3D print it. And yes, there is nothing you can do about it. Literally, you'd have to change how you regulate guns in the first place. You'd have to regulate basically every single piece of a gun to properly regulate it. Even then, in theory, you can still print 3D guns, like full-on 3D printed guns. But first of all, it's not a real problem because any 3D printed gun right now, we don't have the technology to make anything like that remotely lethal or functional. Like you have some prototypes, but they don't work. Like they kind of break themselves on the first shot. And the second thing is a schematic is still just a speech, and if you consider, that's interesting. And so, but it's still speech, right? It's still speech. You can't. So first of all, there's the First Amendment, but even if you wanted to regulate that speech, you'd have to track all conversations online to make sure that those schematics are not being spread. And so suddenly,
I'm just going to 3D print a crossbow and a catapult and then I'll be like the kid into Badass Book. Can't regulate me now, Trump.
I don't know if it's Trump that wants to do that. Possibly. I don't fucking know. But anyways, it's really interesting. We live in very interesting times.
I wish we didn't live in these times.
No, you don't. You have food on the table. You have a roof over your head. That's pretty good. Most people do have that.
Maybe I want to go forward where this thing isn't so bad. I'm not saying I don't want to go back.
So you're saying you could be more lucky?
Yes.
Well, technically you're correct. But on the other hand, it's kind of ungrateful. Like, be happy with what you have now. You know? Not happy. Let's say be satisfied with what you have now.
I'm rather satisfied, but I want more.
Oh, well, make more.
Are you going to make a ghost gun then and defend your hometown from Antifa?
I don't think that's how it works here. Although, maybe it is. I'll look it up.
Wait, can you not make those in France?
I could get a 3D printer. That's not the problem. The problem is the pieces. I'm not even sure how the legislation is about all this here in France. Maybe every single piece is like regulated, you know? Like from what I know, the only guns you can own as an individual are like for hunting, and that's basically it.
You're
You
hunting
can't
the
have
infection, the scourge,
the
the
only the
flood.
only the only permit you could get is for hunting weapon, and that's basically it. And that's obviously you're a cop or something.
Oh, this game looks fun. Epic Store is epic now. Now that I see
Did you
this cool game.
did you look at things?
What? No, this is a different game.
Okay. Yeah, the Superliminal is kind of like. Okay, I'm not gonna say anything. But it's a really good fucking game. I loved it.
Also, Paladin, I sent you a DM. I posted this at the beginning of this chat, but Emoto deleted it. Do you think this counts as porn? Or is he just a dumbo for being turned on by spaghetti?
Oh, did you have to? Is that the why you censored it? Oh no, it's a different one. Yeah, why do you have to censor that, Mbudo?
Because
It's a noodles. It's not even real.
yeah, but
It's your stupid
You
human
know what
brain
I'm doing,
seeing
right?
what you're seeing.
I don't care what you think. You know what I'm doing. I'm asking you to please not making more difficult for me.
How is it more difficult?
Because are you retarded?
Wait, what is this one? Are we supposed to be talking on the non-locked channel? Did you say you want to make this public? Like, what does it matter?
I haven't made it public. I don't want to make it public. Why would I make it public?
What's difficult about posting that here? I don't understand. I really
So
don't.
can I post it
Then
with
you're an
disco
idiot. I
spoilers?
don't care.
Why? Just say what's wrong with it.
I
Post it again, Zayas. Let's just keep posting it until he bans us.
God damn.
That's the only. That can be the only thing he can do.
And then YouTube's gonna block the video.
XD.
Wait. What is the YouTube? Wait, what are you recording? Like, what does it matter?
What do you
No,
mean?
cause I'm not going to show it on the video.
Yeah, I'm completely lost. What are you recording? But like, you're
Well,
supposed to be recording the little thingies, right?
I'm recording. No.
Anyway, looks like Susan Wazowski might be working on getting some advertising back on some content on YouTube again. I guess maybe now the Pawcats might be able to get monetized in the futures after talking about all these school shootings and Nazis and substitute teachers beating up
Oh,
students.
that's good of Susan. Susan isn't gone yet. Susan was complaining because the lawmakers don't even have cell phones, and she's trying to explain to them how the internet works, working to identify advertisers who are interested in edgier content. That sounds about right. We just have to put the thing. Oh, she put the Map Hat interview there.
So now I just need edit and post all the Pawcats and then my videos will get me YouTube moans. Hooray.
You see, we need to post that spaghetti at the beginning of every video so they don't think we're for children.
XD.
Zayas was trying to save us. Thank you, Zayas.
But then we'll get demonetized anyway.
I think YouTube is gonna die tomorrow. Tomorrow being the future, not tomorrow's date.
I just need some more scantily clad cat girls in the thumbnails. Go away,
Yeah.
stupid kids. These videos not for you.
Well, kids like furries, don't they? They like dressing up, so I don't know if that's a good idea. Animal characters invite children, so you're gonna get us like instantly demonetized that way.
We're not furries though.
It has to be like there needs to be guns and blood in the thumbnail.
And cat girls don't fall into furry.
Hold on, did you look at the YouTube creator page?
I can put cat girl with guns in thumbnail. That'll work.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Like they're having on the YouTube upload page, they're adding more. They're adding like warnings.
We already talked about guns and shootings. Easy pages.
Yeah, we're not gonna get demonetized now. At least for the kid content, but we'll get demonetized because of the guns.
If you guys noticed, but our guest just
Oh.
joined and he left. Nice. Good job, guys.
What you talking about for warnings in the creator thing?
I don't know where it went. It was there.
He said so. He messaged me. He said he might drop out randomly. He's coming.
Where the heck did it go? It was there. It's like, oh, make sure you
I
follow
don't
the
see it.
law.
I said
Oh.
he messaged me.
She's on the like go to a video and it'll tell you audience and is this video made for kids? It says regardless of your location, you're legally required
Talking
to
to
comply
Paladin.
with the Children's Online Privacy Act, COPPA, and or with other laws. We are required to tell us whether your videos are made for kids. And then there's a little checkbox. It's like, yes, it's made for kids. No, it's not made for kids. And then under that, the age restriction thing. Did we post the thing
I think I already checked not for kids on day 1.
Okay. There's actually another thing though. Hold on. Let me find the link. That apparently
Maybe
there's
that's
a
why I don't see
third
it.
there's a third option that YouTube never told anyone about, which is like general audiences. Oh wow, didn't embed, of course, because the lawyer was looking at the thing, and then there's for kids, there's not for kids, and then there's for general audiences. That's not a writing thing. Sorry, I don't think the guy has articles. And apparently that third option, the general audiences, would save the whole thing, but they don't want to give it as an option.
They too scared of more fines. XD.
I don't know where that warnings went. Maybe I just cleared it. Well, anyway, when I went to upload the video, it was telling me about these warnings, like, oh, you're legally required to tell us if this video is made for kids or not. Well, you stopped recording anyway, right? So I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think it goes away after you dismiss it and then it's in some hidden menu.
Well, it was like in a settings menu, but I don't know which settings menu it was on. So I need to find that again. Because it's not under settings. Oh wait, maybe it is. Oh wait, it is. Under if you go to channel, or if you're under the new YouTube studio, if you go to settings and then channel and then advanced settings.
That's why I hate menus with too many options. It's so retarded.
Well, it's like if they just made all the menus in one thing, maybe it would be easier, but you have to click a menu and then click another menu under that menu.
I sees it.
And then I guess it has a little hyperlink for what is made for content for kids, which is, they say right under it that they can decide that your video is made for kids even if you don't say it is.
Yeah.
YouTube is in a
Gotta
murky
cover their
spot
own
right
ass
now.
instead of their creators. Sounds like a real company to me.
Well, one of the problems is that YouTube always advertised itself like publicly, which is what the FTC had a problem with, that it was a site popular with children under 10. So if they would have just never said any of that stuff, they could have the plausible deniability that children don't use their platform, where it's not meant for kids. But when they're constantly saying, "Oh, this platform is the top website for children," they kind of lose that. The whole
That's
13
retarded.
plus.
Why would you say that, Lomo?
Well, I don't know. That's a good point. And it's like they weren't talking about the YouTube Kids app, which is like the new thing. This was before.
It's popular
Before the
with
whole
more than just
controversies.
kids. Silly billies.
I don't know why they would say that, but apparently they said it a lot. And that's what the FTC was looking at when they were making their judgment and fining YouTube. However hundreds of millions of dollars they were fined. I'm trying to find if I can find one of their quotes. Well,
Probably for better ads. Gotta tell those kids when they're young to buy my yummy products.
Yeah, I guess that's true. They wanted to stealthily invite advertisers, saying, "Oh, there's kids on the platform, so if you advertise for them, you're." But that's what COPPA's for, right? We can't advertise to children. They're stupid. They don't know what an ad is.
Yeah.
Which is kind of true, but it should be the parents' responsibility, which is obvious, but it's not their responsibility. It's YouTube's responsibility to babysit the children. Oh, what the heck? They're talking about the P scores on the actual YouTube page now?
They can't even do basic 4th grade math, or read at a 4th grade level, when they're in 4th grade. Fucking dumb base kids deserve to be advertised to.
How do kids not know what an ad is? It's super simple. If it looks like they're trying to sell you something, they're selling you something. Kids just shouldn't be on the internet until they're like 20 anyway, so that's
Yeah.
the real problem.
Obliviously.
Why are we trying to ban creators when we just need to ban children? Which one's more easier? There's YouTube Kids app anyway, which is I don't understand. Like, why don't they just say that
Instead of banning porn and ads and drugs, just make it illegal for kids. What could possibly go wrong?
The principle is that regardless of what you say your website is, like in theory, YouTube is for 13-year-olds and shut the fuck up. It's for 13-year-olds and older. But I think the point is, well, regardless of what standard you're setting, the fact of the matter is there are kids on your website. And
Well,
so I think I heard a Twitch streamer put it really interestingly, is that you're gonna be in trouble if COPPA considers that a child could click on your.
No, that's not what it is.
I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure that's the standard they are setting.
The thing is, YouTube were advertising themselves as a website for children,
Do you have the
even though
source
they
for that?
had,
Oh yeah, I can find it for you. Hold on.
even though they had it as like
Okay, do
13
you want the
plus.
source like the stream I was talking about, or do you want the actual source? So I can
Either,
find
or both.
I,
Whatever you can find.
so in terms of sources, the first one there was this interview done by this Kappa guy, and he expressly said how talked about how he would how Kappa would actually persecute no, it's not persecute, is it persecute? English
Yeah,
language.
that word works in this situation.
Okay, persecute,
Prosecute.
prosecute. Fuck me. Prosecute content creators themselves, not just YouTube. But let me hold on. I'm gonna find the clip of that Twitch stream.
MatPat is the ultimate authority on this.
Commit Sudoku, please.
Shut up, MatPat. I do think I saw a clip where they said they'd go after creators and not just YouTube.
Yeah.
Yep.
YouTube is the barrel. Creators are Kappa's the shotgun, I think was the quote. And the
Not sure if
creators are the
that's the
fish.
cease you're looking for.
I think Google deleted everything. But Google was advertising YouTube as a website for all ages, even though in their terms it's a 13 plus website. So if it's anyone's fault, it's Google's fault for trying to say that it's a website for kids, because they did have the plausible deniability that, oh, the site's for 13 plus, if there's kids on there, that's not our fault. But if they're saying they know there's a lot of kids on the site, then they lose that.
Yeah, that's why I'm confused as to why they would declare that.
Help protect my children.
Oh, hello, Argus.
Hello.
Welcome to the Pawcats.
I'm very sorry that I'm late. An emergency came up.
Let the kids. And not in that way.
You know everyone's going to take it that way, right?
There's no problem being late. We all do it sometimes. And emergencies are a well-justified reason for being late.
As opposed to sleeping.
Well, there's reasons that things happen, and some of them happen for other, it happens. Being late isn't isn't always bad. But now that we're here, hello. We were
Hello.
just discussing the fall of YouTube. The usual.
You were discussing the COPPA stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was thinking about starting YouTube as well. I guess I'm not doing that anymore.
You just have to. Oh yeah, it's like too late in the game to start YouTube actually. So
I'm doing it anyway. I'm 26 years old, but life is going nowhere. I gotta do something.
Time to make our own video hosting site. Big chimp.
well, people have done that, like Patreon alternatives. They've just made a new processing center because Patreon keeps banning people. You know about New Project 2?
Patreon. Lol.
Well, a guy who makes like $80,000 a month on Patreon. He noticed people were being banned, so he's taking his Patreon money and just building another website that acts as a payment processor. And then
XP.
the principle is free speech, so he's not going to ban anybody. It's actually pretty cool. His website is New Project 2.
It's a double-edged sword, though, because if he says it's free speech, then Johnny Hatemonger could just come along and.
Well, yeah. Credit card companies and banks have already not started to work with him because of it. Like, he doesn't take any fees from the creators who use the website or anything.
Of course they would. Who didn't see that coming?
The problem then comes from how is he going to sustain himself if he's not taking fees from.
Well, he makes $80,000 a month on Patreon, so I think he's good. At least for the time being. Well, he takes like the bank fees, right? which is a small fee.
I mean, that depend. I would assume that depends on the amount of money, but
Oh yeah, that's true, but he's trying to do the good. So, and some people are using it. So
Just
it's
needs
there
to
for
take like
people who use it.
1%. Easy bank.
Oh, I said 80,000. It's actually 20,000, but still, that's still a lot of money per month. And all he
Yeah.
does is a weekly podcast.
I wish I was making 20K a month.
It's this guy, by the way. His name is Dick Masterson.
I think I've heard about him before.
He's rather popular. You know, $20,000 is not nothing change.
Yeah, I love Dick.
I'm not even going to touch that one.
XD.
Not even your bros. So Argus, what is it you do?
I don't do much of anything at the moment. I try to stream and fail miserably. I play video games and fail miserably. Basically, what I'm saying is I don't really do a lot successfully. So
Didn't you finally make it out of bronze?
I did about a season ago. I actually uninstalled League.
Oh,
about a week
fantastic.
ago. Because people were influencing my attitude towards it, and just like I really cannot be bothered anymore.
I found
I
the
love,
thing.
I love MOBAs, but I cannot be bothered to put up with the stress that the community puts it through. And I mean, I made a video about it, basically explaining why I don't play League anymore. And basically, like, I shouldn't have to. It should be the case that I have to hit mute all every time I come into a game. I should be able to just leave everything on.
Do you think that's an inherent feature of MOBAs in general?
I feel like it's an inherent feature of. I feel like it's an inherent thing with competitive games as a whole, not just MOBAs. It's sad that it is this way. I do feel like some games are handling this kind of thing better than others. I feel like League of Legends does not have the right system for this kind of thing, and I understand it's a large scope and there's a lot of work that goes into it. But
You say
you
system,
know,
you mean like the chat system, or?
yeah, like the automated ban system.
That's why I just troll to retards in all chat. I actually don't give a fuck what they say. I just make catgirl memes at them.
I think the problem with League goes as deep as game design, as far as I'm concerned. I think it's just the fact that like there. I think a real good comparison is actually from just an experience perspective is between Overwatch and League, because they're both MOBAs essentially. You're in both cases you're stuck with a room of like 10 people that are complete strangers, and like you have to interact with them, you have to play with them, against them, whatever. And I feel like from my experience, Overwatch is a lot less toxic than League. And I think one of the reasons why is because League games are so darn long and drawn out. Because you're going to play a 30-40 minutes game and you're going to be stuck with that one dude that just fucks everything up. Whereas if the game could just last, like, I don't know, 15 minutes, okay, let's move on. I wouldn't get as fired up about.
I just feel like the issue with the system that they have in place. I mean, I get what you're saying. Like games are long, and you don't want to spend like 30-40 minutes of your life basically wasting time because one guy's screwing it up for the rest of you. But I feel like people feel like they can just speak without a filter and it's okay. They're not going to get banned for it. Because I'll be honest. I'll be honest, because I would have if I was a more prominent person, I probably would have been called out for it. I have been toxic in League. I have said lots. Nothing racist or anything like that. But I've said some horrible things to people, and I've done horrible things in the game. and I have not received any sort of punishment for it at all. I think I
They
got like
should hang
a
you.
That's
I think
really it's really interesting.
I think I got a chat ban once for calling someone. I don't know what's the limit on language here.
Non nigger.
Okay. Oh, I got like a 14 game chat ban for calling someone a cunt. A
Oh,
while
that's
ago.
like the lowest thing that we would not say is okay.
And that was it. Like since then, I have said much worse things, and no chat bans, no time bans. My account is still like Honor 4 or something. Just like
That's interesting. See, I actually got banned for like full on banned for like a couple days, I think, back in season 2 when I started playing because I was unfathomably toxic. But nothing since.
I think you're just a toxic person in Buddha. So
No, that's the craziest part is
Was-
I got punished way more often, not for being toxic, but for leaving games, which I think is pretty crazy. I mean, so it clearly shows
That's more
what
toxic.
right.
Ooh.
I'm not okay. Here's the deal. I'm gonna make my case about why and when I leave games. I leave games when it's 0-17 at 10 minutes and like the game's basically over, right? Half the team is opening mid already. I'm just gonna leave this game. There's no point in wasting my time. I'm gonna go do something else, right? And the people, and other cases are like games where it's also obviously lost, and people refuse to surrender. Like it'll be 20-55, and we have no towers. They have all towers, but the enemy team is being a bunch of idiots and not finishing the game. But it would take us like an hour to catch up. And all I want to do is just surrender, move on to the next game, because that's actually the time efficient thing to do if what you're looking to do is climb. Because this isn't a tournament, it's a climb. It's a game, it's a wins per, it's a raw wins per hour ratio. That it's the raw wins per hour ratio that actually matters, not winning every single game. So if a game is lost, just surrender as early as possible, and it's actually your best bet. What I hate are people that do the literal opposite and treat every single game as if it was a tournament game. You don't learn anything in those games. You don't. Maybe you gain like 1% win rate. Yeah, but you waste so much time that you could have been practicing your early game, like parts of the game that actually matters: early game, mid game, team fighting, positioning, kiting. But when you've lost the game and you're just clearing waves and waiting for the opponent, for the enemy team to finish the game, you're not learning anything. You're wasting your time and your team's. And in those cases, I leave the game because like I'm being kept hostage by my own team. I can't stand.
League definitely doesn't respect the player's time. One of the big reasons I just don't play anymore. But if you're not going to put up with trying to win those games, then just don't play the game. 100%. Full stop. Don't
Yep.
play if you're going to leave. Doesn't
Yep,
matter if it's time efficient. Put up with it or get the fuck out. We talked about this in like episode 3.
Yep, and that's why I actually quit. I came back to it in like since last week, and I haven't left a single game. But yeah, I left the game precisely for that reason.
like the reason I left the game. I mean, Boo, you know Cursed Hunting, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
cursed.
Fellow mod on Gbay stream. I duo with him very frequently. It got to the point where we would only ever play duo queue with each other. Like I would only ever queue up with him. And he eventually just stopped wanting to play with me because I was actually getting, because of people's behavior in the game, it rubbed off on me, and I started getting more toxic, and he hated that, and I could see where he was coming from because it's like, you know,
Wow, you
lost
made cursed feel bad. How could you?
I pissed him off. I really pissed him off, and it got to the point where I don't want to play this game if this is how it's going to make me behave, you know, like. And the thing is, it doesn't matter if I mute everyone. I'm still going to, like, even if I'm just shouting into the void, and people are still going to see it.
I made it a long time ago. I made it a habit. Every single game of League that I start, first of all, I mean, now there's a very neat option where you can disable your own team's chat. You don't even have to mute all anymore. You can just disable the all chat and disable your team chat. And I do that every game. And I did that with Overwatch too, where if you want to talk to me, you have to come to voice chat. And if you're not willing to actually talk, then get the fuck out. You don't have anything to tell me, right? That's what I would do with Overwatch. That's what I'm doing in League. I'm just disabling any kind of chat whatsoever. Because, and I'm most of the time also just disable pings. Because when's the last time a teammate actually did a useful ping? Usually people just spam question marks on your corpse. That's what they use pings for, like 95% of the time. So just I don't bother with pings anymore.
I mean, like, but that's what I said in my video, was that I shouldn't have to resort to this kind of thing. I should be able to use these features as they were intended for constructive. Like, I know obviously that's not going to happen because it's the internet, and the internet is, well, we don't need to talk about that. But you know, I should be able to use these features as they are intended for constructive team communication, and that's generally what I would use them for, because you can't communicate everything in a ping. You know, like if I'm bot lane and I ping missing, that doesn't necessarily mean, you know, everybody in bot lane's missing. That means like, oh, like this one person is missing, and I'll say like, you know, like support's missing or like ADC's missing, like. But if you know, I can't really do that if they're filling the chat with like just arguments and like crying and screaming, and just like, for fuck's sake, you know.
Didn't League add voice chat? I stopped
It's
playing
only
League
for
like a year and a half ago.
it's only
So
for pre-made.
Yeah, it's only for pre-mates.
If they made it for everybody, like just in the game, like you'd have to be pre-made, would that help solve the issue? You think,
I
or
think
no?
it might. So so we have some. I think a very good example of what would happen if voice chat was in game would be Overwatch, because it's the closest to League as far as I can tell.
Well, Dota
Like,
has
it's
it as
MOBA.
well.
What game? Dota?
Dota has it as well. Yeah.
Do you play Dota?
I actually did play a couple of games of Dota recently, and
It's
there
filled
was
with
voice
Russians,
chat
though.
used. It is filled with Russians, but like when I played with an American friend, we were on an American server, and there was like people actually using the voice chat, and it wasn't just, you know, Sikabliat and like people spamming hard bass down the voice chat. You know, it was actually constructive chat, and it was useful. I feel like I know obviously this isn't the case because I've seen the worst of Overwatch voice chat. It's not good, but
Well,
it
the
can be
average
used
isn't
more
bad.
constructively. Like, yeah, obviously the average isn't as bad, but like, you know, you'll always get bad cases, always.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, I've spent like how much? Maybe like 500 to 1,000 hours playing Overwatch, and most of that was on voice chat. The first thing I noticed is that Americans actually, like the US actually uses voice chat. EU doesn't. Most people in EU that will join, first of all, most of them won't join voice at all, and the few that will, they won't say a thing. They understand English, they can speak English, but they don't bother doing it, and they will type everything in chat and
Yeah.
listen, quote unquote, listen to you, which
They
doesn't
is scared
do
of
any.
being made fun of for their accent. Cry face.
Well, the second thing is most Overwatch players in EU are actually French people, and I couldn't stand that in Overwatch. So when there would be a party of French people, I would just pretend to be like, I don't know, Norwegian or something.
You don't like French people?
I don't want to talk. I don't want to speak French with strangers online. I just feel awful.
Is the French that intimate of a language?
XD.
It's just they're just so cocky.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that in League as well. Like, it's become a meme, but the meme is rooted in fact. Like, French players are some of the worst players. Like, not even like in terms of like gameplay, in attitude.
Yeah,
they are some of
definitely.
the worst players you will ever encounter in League, ever. Like, maybe like in EU West, in EU Northeast, like the Poles have everyone beat, but we're not talking about Polish people today. And to just put an end to the speculation, yes, EUNE is the worst server. It is the worst. I've played on NA, EU West, and EUNE. EUNE is the worst.
What about Turkey?
I'm sorry, what? I don't like to acknowledge that server's existence.
It is a server. There's
Yeah, but
also like Southeast Asia. I suppose.
yeah, well, I don't even want to try and play on Southeast Asia. It'd be like trying to play on fucking 56k dial-up. For me,
Wow,
at least.
racist.
Not racist. It's just the distance between me and the server.
Yeah, sure thing, racist.
Shut the fuck up.
Well, now that
If the
you've quit
French are
League,
so
I'm sure
arrogant
there's
and
gonna.
annoying, then why aren't they all pro players like Sos or Kamias? Fucking faggots. Get good or shut the fuck up.
They don't want the actual good players. Only the Asia can be the best. But now that you've quit League, you got a lot of free time, right?
Yeah, the thing is, I don't know what to do with it. I have been playing a lot of Pokemon recently.
Oh, I'm
Um,
sorry.
It's fun. I like Sword and Shield. Well, I like Sword because that's the version I'm playing.
It's not as bad as everyone's saying it is.
It's definitely not as bad. No, everyone's blowing it out of proportion. They're crying about no national decks, and it's like, yeah, I get it. There's less Pokemon, but at the same time, it's like, were you ever really going to catch all of them? I never
Yes!
caught all of them. I never did.
Wow, lazy gamer.
Well, that's some people's objective when they play. Beat Elite Four and then capture everything.
The Odists would.
I mean, I'm not bothered by any of this. I played through the main story. I played through the end game, and I had fun. And I'm still having fun. What I like to do is I just like to put stuff on the surprise trade, the wonder trade.
Whatever. I guess
I'm-
everyone does have a different thing to get out of the game. But like, have you played Pokemon a lot before, or is this like a new thing?
No, I played I've played every gen except for 4. And 7.
Wow,
I
boomer.
couldn't be bothered with 7. I
What
tried
are the-
playing a little bit of Moon and just like, yeah.
So why do you think First General is the best one?
I still have my red cartridge. Is it a cartridge? Is that how we call it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
a cartridge.
Yeah, I still have that and 2 silver. But I can't find my Advance SP.
I had a yellow one but I lost it somewhere. Crying face.
That is sadness.
I'm pretty sure I have like a blue and a gold somewhere, but the batteries have long since died on them. That's what I hate about the older games is that they run on these batteries, and once the batteries die, like you lose pretty much everything.
Are the games not?
Just
are the
replace
games
it.
Not
I
playable
replaced
then?
them in a gold version once.
Yeah, I'm sure it's replaceable to a certain degree.
It's replaceable, yeah, but like you like when I would like I don't know where my cartridges are. So even if I was trying to replace them, I don't know where my cartridges are. They're somewhere, I'm sure, but
You just had
Just
to
play the
solder it on.
emulator.
when I'm like a stupid kid, like 11 or 12, I don't know the first thing about replacing a battery in a cartridge.
Just got to go to eBay and buy a new one.
I would have
Well,
had money.
new. Are you a lot less stressed out now that you stopped playing League? I noticed that for myself.
I've found that. I mean, I'm very much a recent quitter. I only stopped playing like a little while ago. Like even when I put out my video saying I'm not playing League anymore, technically I was still playing League because I was like, I'm Silver 1, I want to get to Gold, and it never happened.
Oh, rest in
That
peace.
is sad.
I was so close. I was in my promos, and it's like I feel like the promotion system is rigged. I really do. I feel like they save all the worst players for when you're playing in your promos. Because up until my promos, I was getting like people who actually like not necessarily they weren't like great players, but they were chill and they usually tried their best. But when it came to like promo time, I feel like they save all the angriest players, all the shortest temper players, all the people who in and like throw temper tantrums over nothing for your promo games.
I know there's a discussion online about whether there is an algorithm in League that's like rigging your game. And I'm certain you could actually do statistical analysis of if you have a large enough sample size to figure out if that's actually the case or not.
Well, if you can't win with bad players on your team, then maybe you don't deserve to win. If you can't respect me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my worst. Ooh.
Well, now that League added alcoves to the map, you're definitely gonna make it to Diamond.
Oh
You just gotta
god.
keep trying.
Oh, by the way, Leona is completely busted. Like, absolutely broken. Just, if you play support, play Leona. Free win. Free LP, really.
I was spamming Sona and Nautilus up to silver 1 in my promos. Because Nautilus was really good.
Yeah, Nautilus is broken, but now it's Leona. She's gotten like 5 seconds on her Q, and her damage is just stupid. Late game, I would consistently 1v1, not just 1v1, dive the enemy AD.
Not
And
so
I'm
my
the
best
support.
girl.
Like, I just build Sunfire Cape and Thornmail, and I have the gold to do it. It's crazy.
Don't get
I
him
agree.
back into League.
Sona is best girl. Sona is best girl, always.
Well, you are factually incorrect, but that's okay.
Yeah, but you're wrong, so, you know.
I mean, it's okay. You're entitled to your wrong opinion.
We're really doing this. Oh, man.
Or give it a couple months and then just realize that you don't miss anything without League, and move on with your life.
Yeah,
It's just that the thing is, I love the MOBA genre as a concept. I love the gameplay. I love. Do you know what I mean? Like the core idea of a MOBA. I love it, but the way Riot's like making all these changes in League and the way the community behaves, just like I can't deal with that. I really can't.
it's like the game is too popular for its own good.
Basically, yeah. I mean, you've seen what changes Riot are making for the next season.
Also, look what I has emoto. Ooh.
Give me. Dude, I know I have it somewhere. I know I have mine. I have a blue one somewhere. I have to find it.
They've made jungle even more worthless, or at least that was the case the last time I checked.
Yeah, I saw that. My friend was telling me about it, and he was like level 5 when the support was level 7 or something.
Like I said, I play a lot with Cursed, and Cursed was so pissed off because he likes to play jungle. For the longest time, he was playing. Recently, he was playing Echo jungle because Echo jungle was busted. Yeah, and he's like, yeah, that's a great idea. Just make the jungle even more worthless. It's like at this point, it might as well go back to a duo top meta.
Well, maybe, yeah.
Because you're not getting enough. You're already not getting enough experience from jungle camps, and your Riot's basically saying, yeah, we're gonna make it so you get even less experience from jungle camps.
But they respawn faster.
But unfortunately, that don't matter.
Yeah, and also it's actually a bad thing because even if it would even out the amount of XP you get, that would simply mean you'd spend more time instead of actually having an impact on the map.
Yeah.
Maybe they want the games to last longer. Maybe that was their goal.
Oh yeah,
So they
they're
want
not
to-
long enough already. You're right.
Well, wasn't there a time where League games got really short?
Yeah,
When,
that was the best time. Like, sure, games were decided in like 10 minutes. But at least I wasn't wasting 45 minutes of my time. I really liked that really fast meta. Sure, it meant that some characters would be unplayable, like Vayne or whatever, because they would just never scale. That's true. But we had the opposite meta where everything was just so goddamn slow. And that was way worse. You know,
I think that's when I hit diamond onto accounts. Ooh.
I remember I think a good comparison to that is Hearthstone. Like, we have a similar idea in Hearthstone in card games in general, where some decks are more aggressive than others and finish the game really fast, and some decks are control decks, will play really slow, will draw out the game and win that way. And people keep complaining about, you know, like, you hear people complain about aggressive strategies in general, right? Oh, Zed is broken because he one-shots me at level 6. Or the Zoo deck is busted because I lose on turn 4. Like, stuff like that. And fair enough. But what's way worse is when you have the opposite, is when you have a 2 control meta. Because then games, I've seen a metas in Hearthstone where a game of Hearthstone would last until the turn limit and end in a tie. That should not happen. And it did happen at some point where every deck was a control deck because because there was no aggressive strategy and there was no combo deck. Like, there was nothing. And so I think slow-paced metas are far worse than really aggressive ones. At least in aggressive metas, well, you're doing a lot of things, at least things are happening. But in a slow meta, you're just going to wait for most of the game. And then, the game is just going to be decided on a coin flip. Essentially, it's either going to be, well, who has the better team in terms the better team composition, or who has one player that just throws. That's horrible. Like, imagine you play jungle.
Plus is more exciting to play and to watch. Maybe then I'd watch competitive games. Ooh.
That's interesting. Like, imagine you play jungle and you've been playing perfectly the entire game. You're carrying, you're super fed, but the game is actually quite close, and you've carried your team through the game. It's close. You just have to keep making the right moves, the right decisions, and whatnot. Your team are dog shit, but it's still winnable. And you make one mistake. Like, the game has lasted, it just lasted for 40 minutes. It's really close, and you make a mistake. And then you lose the game because of that one. It's like everything you did previously didn't matter. You made a mistake at the wrong time. You lost the game. You made a mistake at 40 minutes. That's game ending. There was a meta like this when the respawn timers were extremely short late game, where games just would not. That was horrible.
Well, this is how you fix it all. Just don't play.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm having fun with League at the moment, and I'm not getting overly upset. The only thing about playing Leona is I kind of need teammates to follow up, so that sucks when I don't have teammates. There are games where I'll be 2-12 because people decide that they'd rather see me int than try to win the game. Whatever. Fair enough.
Please excuse me one moment. Food has arrived.
I don't know what I was doing when I was playing League. I want to try it again almost, but then I also don't want to go back.
I mean, I think I made that mistake and I'm playing League now and I'm actually enjoying it, and that's probably a bad thing. Because I wanted to play Smash, right? But in the end, I'm not. I'm like, here's the thing. I go home, I want to play League. I don't want to play Smash. I want to play League.
As I said also, I might play League again during my transition show just because it's a game everyone can play and run and stuff, even if it's just by ROMs, and then never play it again. Well.
Since we were talking about League, maybe now would be a good time to talk about one of our favorite League of Legends content creator.
Lily Pichu?
Remelia?
Yes, also. But also no.
Skura?
Scar's pretty cool.
Skura? I don't
Cutie Pie?
I don't watch these guys. They're fat.
PewDiePie doesn't play League.
Double Lift?
Cutie Pie, not PewDiePie.
Afromoo?
Moo Moo. Cowsep. Are we just gonna name content creators now?
Well, who's our
Yeah.
favorite content
Ooh.
creator?
I mean, my favorite. Jesus, no, don't make me say it. It's cringe. It's not even true.
BGay69?
Oh yeah, that one. I heard of him. What's he been up to?
He's been streaming.
No, he's
Semi-regularly.
not. No, he hasn't. When was his last stream exactly?
Last Tuesday.
Last
wasn't it?
couple weeks, yeah, something like Tuesday. No, I didn't catch any of his streams on Tuesday.
Filthy Robot?
Okay, you can stop, Zeiss.
XP?
So I'm worried about G-Bay.
Windows XP?
You're worried about G-Bay?
Yeah, have you seen some of
What
Like
he
he's
do?
gone on a rampage on Twitter, and it's
Well, we all go through our radical phase.
yeah, I guess that's correct, but I don't know if it's so much about being a radical. It's rather so he's always been very reclusive, and I know that that's what's making him so miserable because he is miserable. He's always been miserable, and hopefully he won't stay that way. But he doesn't seem to be taking it very seriously. And like he's going from bad to worse, right? Like now he's catching people on
Any
Twitter.
specific
And
examples you can link?
oh yeah, for sure. Hold on.
Maybe this is just his evolution.
Like this thread that he replied to. It's
Oh,
not
I
so much
replied to him.
about yeah,
He
it's
didn't
not so much
never reply back to me.
it's not so much about what he says. It's about how he says it and why. It's like,
He's just trying to troll the libs.
no, he's not. That's the thing.
Well, that's how he's framing it, but
Yes,
you
it
know
is.
it's not right.
He's trying to convince himself that he's trolling, but he's not trolling anyone.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with him. I don't know what he's thinking.
I think that's just a very usual result of isolating you. I mean, I would have easily done that kind of shit if I didn't end up opening up to people like Zeiss and you and stuff like that. Just if you isolate yourself and there's no one to criticize what you do and tell you real shit, that kind of shit happens, and you just go downhill from there. And that's why I tried, like in the Discord, I tried to tell him, man, you're being pathetic. But like, obviously, he's not reading it. I know.
He doesn't go to the Discord.
Yeah, his tweets read like a Twitter troll.
Except he's not trolling. That's the thing.
Yeah,
I
he
know
actually
G-Bait.
thinks these things.
Yeah, or rather, I don't know if it's about the things themselves, but he does believe in how he's saying them. Rather, he is angry. He is upset, and he wants to make someone pay for it.
His past self.
Yeah, well, his future self is gonna like. There's gonna be a point. I'm just gonna fuck off because I mean I like him and I want him to like get better and shit. It's not even that he's not trying; it's that he's not realizing what he's doing.
Who are we talking about?
Take
Talking
a
about
guess.
G-Bane.
What did he do this time?
He's digging his own grave.
Then we need grow the Pawcats enough so we can get him on here and talk some sense into him.
Yeah, I wish.
Have
mean,
you
now
seen
I can't
G-Bane's
even- I
Twitter
can't- I
recently,
can't-
Argus?
I cannot even DM him anymore. I don't know why. Like, did he block me, or is it just that he deactivated the cross server thing? I'm not sure.
What, the DM set? I think it's always been like that, dude.
No.
Activate.
Unless he's like defriended you by accident or something.
Oh, or maybe I was on his friends list. I guess. I don't think I was.
He could have had like a friends list clearer or something. I mean, the thing is, you got to remember, like when he's got when you've got as many subscribers as he does, you're gonna have like a bunch of random people trying to.
Lol, dude. Discord didn't exist for like years. Like he just wasn't on Discord. Why does it like? He's nobody. Let's be honest. You're not.
No, but you know what I mean. Like even with a smaller, because he has a smaller channel in the grand scheme of things. But like even so, people know him. They're still gonna like you. Don't underestimate the power of fucking weirdos on the internet, man.
I guess. What I just wish he would. It feels like he keeps going into those same patterns. And that's why the top related GBase 99 searches are GBay 99 suicide, GBay 99 breakdown, GBay 99 angry, stuff like that, rage. There's a
Well, that
reason
breakdown
why.
was because he was playing League, and that's kind of funny, seeing people rage over the League.
Angry.
It's not just because he's playing League. I don't think. I mean, sure, League does bring the worst out of people, but it's also because he just digs himself into that horrible, horrible pattern where he's not doing any kind of introspection. Like
Maybe he just wants to stop getting random dick pics in private messages. Think too.
I mean, the thing is, he's been a content creator for a long time, and he's lost love for it a long time ago. And what he's doing is just he wants to do content for the same reason that I'm playing. It's like to try to get that same initial kick that we got years ago.
Mhm.
And that doesn't work long term. Which is why I'm willing to quit. Like, I know I'm going to quit League in some time, probably, and I'll be fine with it. The problem is he's trying to build his career upon that. It's not about League, by the way. It's about being the content he's making. And we keep telling him that he could do so much more. And yes, sure, that would mean, having a dip in subscribers and whatnot. You have to take those risks. It's not just about career. It's about not making yourself as miserable.
It's like,
Clearly, he's so miserable. It's sad to see.
I remember first watching his Football Manager stuff on YouTube, and he seemed so much happier playing Football Manager. Like, he was really, really into it, and I loved watching it because I loved watching him getting all like hyped and stuff. It's like I just don't get that same feeling from his League videos.
I see.
I feel like it is kind of like, I think he's getting burnt out on League. I think everybody's getting burnt out on League.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
But they can't, at the same time, they can't afford to stop making content for it because it's still a huge thing. And I mean,
Does he still update his Patreon? Do you guys know?
What?
He had a Patreon?
He had a Patreon?
Oh, his last update was July. Never mind.
Maybe he made it when while he was streaming on YouTube.
He made it a while ago, but he got to 17 podcasts.
Podcast?
Yeah, he was doing podcast. You don't remember?
No.
Oh, it was last year. Ooh.
He did podcasts?
Well, I was trying to see if he was still making money
on
on
his
Patreon.
BGA100 channel.
$120, which is some money.
I mean, he's online right now. Let's spam him in the
Yeah.
Discord.
I don't think he's gonna respond to you.
Yeah, I know.
The thing is, as well, with like, like personal contact with him and stuff, is the fact that he's a very, very socially like awkward guy. Like, having met him in real life, like seeing him at League Fest, he seemed like, when it came to like the parties and stuff, like the viewing parties of LCS, he seemed kind of uncomfortable, like, being there. He seemed really out of his element, and I feel like even like on a personal level, he's kind of uncomfortable, talking to people like one-to-one, which is kind of sad. Yeah,
well, probably.
The Asperger's is strong with him.
Yeah, he's a retard.
Well, some people are like that. Maybe he's just not gonna kill himself. Maybe he just can't communicate with the outside world.
Could be social anxiety. The thing is, that's part of the reason why I went to League Fest, was because I was dealing with anxiety at the time, and the best way, my doctor told me the best way to deal with anxiety is to go out and do stuff, push the boundaries, do something that you wouldn't normally do. That's why I went to like 3 different conventions in 2016. It was because like I was dealing with anxiety, and I just thought, screw it, I'll go out there. I've got some money to, I've got some spare money sitting around. I'll just go and do it, make myself feel a little better. And it actually worked. Like, it helped beat the social anxiety. And I feel like if he opened himself up a little bit, I'm not saying like let anybody just like come and talk to him, because that would be a bit weird, but
Also, there's no real surefire way to continue growing as a content creator and stuff, and most of the people in that space have either had no traditional jobs or business experience. So maybe he's also in that circle where he doesn't know what to do and is just holding on to a league because it's his safest bet. Which makes sense, but I think he's falling into that same place where you feel trapped and would rather make the moans than make a move.
Yep, exactly. That's exactly what's happening. I talked to him, so when on his first stream back on Twitch, we actually went in a voice call, and like I tried to, like, we had a conversation about how he felt pretty bad about what he was doing, and I suggested, you know what, man, just try getting a real job. If you don't do it for the money, just do it for the experience of what it is to have a job, and maybe it'll open up some of your perspective. And I told him you can even get like a job where you have to show up 3 hours a week. And if you can manage that, then that's good. And you can quit anytime. It's not like you're married to your job. So yeah, I hope he makes a move, because otherwise it's gonna be really sad to see his end. Either he's just gonna one day
Well,
he's
he just
just
have a
gonna
GF now, right? So
Yeah,
he's
he
got that
does.
going for him.
Well, I
Unless
hope
he
it's
broke up
working
with
for
them
him.
again
What I
and
do
didn't
see
tell
also is
anybody.
that since he's had that girlfriend, he's been going on those Twitter rampages. I don't know if those things are correlated in any way,
Well, he
but
kind of has always
he
dated
doesn't.
like far
What I
left
mean is that
people.
he doesn't seem to be doing better from what we can see.
I don't know. GBA has kind of always ended up with like a social justice warrior GF.
Yeah.
It's kind of awkward when you think about it, because wasn't he like he's going out with all these left leaning people? Wasn't he like right leaning?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Well, he's not so much anymore, according to.
Yeah.
No, not so much anymore. But I think that's I think that's because like
All the people he's surrounding himself with are not that way.
I don't know if it's even so much that, because I'm pretty sure he said so himself. Like he said like a lot of the stuff that right leaning, politics and stuff like that is going a completely like screwed up direction to what he initially believed. Because I think he said something. I don't know if it was him or if it was following at the time. There was like two types of conservative, and the conservatives that are in place right now just like are kind of it's kind of difficult for me to describe. It's like they're crazy.
Well, both sides have gone crazy at this point. They're getting further and further apart. JB used to seem rational, but a lot of the things he's been saying recently makes me think he's going off the deep end too. Like he's just like whatever. And I don't want to just say, oh, it's his GF's fault, but with the track record of the people that he's made public that he's been dating, like they were all like that. So maybe he's just finally been brainwashed into thinking it, or maybe he's changing his outward persona to appease them.
It's hard to say. I mean,
I'm not saying it's like wrong or anything if that's what he wants to do, but we all used to enjoy his content.
It's kind of hard for me to say anything like on that, because I'm not a very political. I hate talking about politics because
you're in the wrong place.
I hate everything that goes on in politics. Like it's a joke. People are doing the wrong things, and if they do the right things, it's usually for the wrong reasons.
Make America great again. Maybe I can find his GF by finding who he follows and who tweets and retweets the same things. Then I can convince her to be more reasonable, and then he'll also be more reasonable. Detective Catgirl on the case.
Okay, go for it.
I don't know if he would follow them, because he said he pretty explicitly said he didn't want it to be a public thing.
Yeah, well, that doesn't mean he's being smart about it.
Well, that's also true.
I mean, I live in a country that's being run by Donald Trump if he graduated clown college, for fuck's sake.
Oh yeah, have fun with that. At least our guy was elected.
Boris Johnson is an absolute like joke. Like you take like if you Google him and you find a picture of him, like that's pretty much what he is. He's just it's hard for me to take him seriously. It really is, because he just comes across as like this big joke of a person.
Isn't that kind of his purpose though? He's trying to make a joke of everything.
Yeah, but he's an absolute maniac. Like, he still wants Brexit to happen. We don't want Brexit to happen. Brexit has ruined everything. It's a horrible thing. That's why Scotland wants out of the UK again.
Wasn't the deadline last month? What did they decide?
Oh no, they're still trying to figure it out.
Oh, did they get another extension?
I honestly, I think it's going to go on forever until the end of time. I honestly don't think it's going to go anywhere. It's an absolute farce. It really is.
What do you think?
I think it's time for Scotland to leave the UK and join Scandinavia. Because Scandinavia is a little more sane than England.
They're missing the land border.
That's fine. We'll find a way. We'll find a way.
Well, once you and the French fall apart from their political turmoil, then both your countries will become rivals again and have eternal wars.
Yeah, I can't wait for that to happen. Faggot.
You guys just need to join the U.S. You guys need to become the 51st state.
Nah, you good. Until Trump's gone. Like, you good. You good.
Yeah, I mean, who will
There's
take
no
his
better
place?
time than now when there's two Trumps and both controlling both power.
Trump's not so bad.
Besides, I like the NHS.
Well, we're getting there. All of our Democrat candidates want public health care, so
And that's
we'll get
good.
there eventually.
That's something that should happen because like it's
Yeah,
more
at the
it's
very
more
least,
fair.
the government needs to regulate the
Then they can pay for my titties.
so they don't have to charge like $5,000 for one pill, because that's the real problem.
Because
Everything in the medical sector is overpriced.
if I'm being honest, like your well-being and your health should not come at a price. And well, it should somebody has to pay for all this stuff, but it shouldn't be you.
It's
like,
marked up extremely
Well,
high in the
I
US
don't-
is the problem.
I'm gonna cut you here because I don't think it's fair to say, "Oh, I'm a human being, thus I deserve this or this or that." However, I do agree with the sentiment that if we can afford it, then there's no reason not to.
Well, the thing is, America can definitely afford it.
Yeah, we can. But
What I'm saying, I'm not trying to say like because I am a person and I exist, I am entitled to it. What I'm
that's what some
saying
people are
is,
saying.
what I'm saying is, if I get sick or if I get injured and it's not my fault, I shouldn't. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I disagree. I'm not saying, look, I'm not saying you should pay for it. I disagree with the idea that that there is no, like, here's the
Well,
thing.
the people do pay for it
Here's
with
the thing.
taxes,
If
right?
there is, assuming there is anarchy, then who do you get hurt because of someone else, and he's just gonna run away and not pay for it? Like, what are you gonna do? Just run after him to ask him to pay the bill? No.
I think I'm putting it. I get what you're saying. I think I'm putting it across wrong because we are still technically paying for it.
Yeah, they pay through taxes and stuff. So everyone is
Yes,
paying
obviously.
into the system.
But
So
we're
it's
not like paying crazy high amounts for it. I feel like that's a little ludicrous. Like I'm fine with paying for it through taxes, and I'm fine with paying for it. But I'm not fine with paying like
Social Security is essentially smoothing the idea is to smooth out the variance, right? Is if you get injured, like, because without Social Security, you have you have a low risk of getting seriously injured. For instance, you have a low risk, but like what you risk is really high. You could have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars for medical bills. Whereas if you and so a very few people are going to have to pay a lot of money. Whereas and that happens randomly, roughly. Whereas if you have Social Security, everyone pays a little bit, and so you smooth out that variance.
That's why
That
we need
variance,
end
which is
regime
just
change
random.
wars so we can have a bit more affordable health care. Mommy Kelsey 2020.
The reason I like healthcare is precisely because it smoothes out, it reduces that variance, and makes your personal life more consistent. And I think in everything in life, consistency is probably the most important thing, quality to have.
Yeah, I mean, I think another thing is car insurance. At least in the U.S., everyone has to have car insurance, or they're not allowed to drive, and no one has a problem with that. So that's like one thing that's like, if you can agree to car insurance, why can't we also
Not
just
if you
have
don't have a
life
car.
insurance?
Me
Well, I guess
smart.
that's true.
be smart, don't have a car.
Well, I'm just saying, like, that's just a thing, at least for the U.S. people, like we've accepted that car insurance is a thing. Why can't we accept that, like, health insurance is a thing that we collectively pay into to lower the price of it? Because everyone just decides, oh, I want this level of health care, I'm gonna pay a lot, and these people are like, oh well, whatever, so they don't pay at all, which just increases the price for everybody because they have
Yeah.
to make sure they get their money. But
Yeah.
on the other hand, they have to get their money because the government doesn't say, oh, you can't charge so much for these medical supplies. They can just charge whatever they want. which is if we were just able to regulate the prices for the medical sector, everything would be that would be like the first step to making things better.
Nyah,
Because
I
all
do
the
need to
drugs
pay a
we
lot for what I need. So my thump.
Here in
yeah.
France, we have so there's social security, but there's also regulations on medicine, where some medicine is actually called generic, and so those generic medicines, like they only have the active effect, like they don't have fancy shit in them, and their price is regulated very tightly in the sense that if it's generic medicine, doesn't matter what laboratory it's from, you're gonna get the same thing for the same price.
Yeah, that the U.S. just doesn't do that. Like the companies can pay whatever or charge whatever they want. Even though like drug companies in the U.S. they export the drugs overseas, but they charge less over there, which makes no sense at all.
We has filthy capitalists. Money
Yeah,
face.
it's capitalism. Like I'm not even for saying regulate everything in the economy, but if we just regulated healthcare, that would help so many people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
health
Not
definitely.
even
seems
like
like one of
healthcare.
those things that you could regulate. Yeah.
I mean say healthcare. I just meant like the price because if you looked at if you went
Yeah.
to go buy these things wholesale,
Well, it's
they're so much
similar,
cheaper
right?
than if you bought some from the hospital. Like they're marked up so much for no reason.
Well, there is a reason. It's just a terrible reason.
Oh yeah, I guess like no reason that no benefit, no reason to
No
help everybody.
humanitarian reason.
Yeah,
There's no reason that
so many
benefits you.
hospitals are run for profit, which is a problem. I think.
There's no reason that benefits you. It's a reason that benefits the
Big
person that's
pharma.
taking. Yeah, exactly.
I think definitely having hospitals being run for profit is something that we need to stop.
Oh, definitely. That's that. Like just even hearing it like that is disgusting.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, we also do like education for profit, so like the U.S. is kind of not very cool. That's the other reason we can't get free health or free education because so many colleges are for profit. Capitalism, right?
Nyah, so you heard it all here, folks. Affordable healthcare and education for all. Any last words before Clinton and her goons try to assassinate us like they did Epstein?
Yeah.
Oh,
you
I
pro-
wouldn't touch Hillary Clinton either. She's disgusting, repugnant.
Would you touch Bernie Sanders?
He'd probably die if I sneezed on him.
I mean, it does kind of look like that, doesn't it?
I mean, he
Well,
almost
speaking of-
died once,
He had a heart
maybe
attack.
more.
But he didn't die, and that's the main thing.
He's going to
Yeah,
give the
he's
old IT.
alive still. They're gonna put his they're gonna put his brain in a jar and
It's
hook it
gonna-
up to speakers, and that's how he's gonna rule the country.
He's gonna be like Richard Nixon in Futurama, where he's a head in a jar.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
So the last word is fuck you, Hillary Clinton. Seriously. Go find a bag of dick, shove it everywhere you can.
Well, if you don't make it next week, we know why. Oh, and that's our time. Thank you for showing up, Argus.
Yang 2020.
Ying really should win. I hope he does.
Yeah, he won't.
Bye bye.
He's better. He's better than everyone.